Mid.
Or just no. Or yeah. I'm happy with that. That actually almost resembled analysis from you guys. Thank you.
Well,
yeah, 6% win rate of the course this year. Oh, Matt.
Yeah.
Have you?
I have a reason how you can back it up. What?
Hey, what
are you looking at?
I don't know.
You know, I'm chilling. I'm chilling in my little dungeon over here. You stay in your box. You don't come near my box. Real clean reason. New York is just a better city than Boston, so clearly they're gonna win. Hey, you stay over there.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Hey,
okay.
you don't want to catch these hands. Yeah. That's why they put this wall here to separate us. They're scared I'm gonna take you out.
Yeah, I mean, for my own protection, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, my garage is the Overwatch League Witness Protection Program. Listen, I mean, this situation here, I think, between these two teams is pretty dire for New York, right? I mean, we talk about that map score, and it is important. Then again,
yeah.
New York's losses on maybe even many of those maps are against, teams in the top 6, top 8 teams. Boston obviously fall a little bit outside of that, right?
Well, also, you're gonna have terrible map records on just about everything when you're 1-10. I mean, like, there's probably one map that they're like 1-1 on or something like that. Like, it's like a great, like, you're gonna have bad map records if your record is that bad. We've seen better things of them recently. Specifically, like Yaki on Genji, right? His Genji's looked really clean. We casted a series where he was like completely dominating the game. Him and Youngbung really played well. So we'll see if they can do that again. For Boston here, you're 3 and what is that? 3-8, 3-9. You're looking to get a win here. Get to 4 wins, right? Obviously not the best first half of the season, but you still have like hope of even like potentially even cracking that top 8 going into the end of the season, right? You get some points in tournament 3, you go in, you can either maybe make it past the play-ins, an opportunity to do that, or get into the play-in, because there is some stuff to like about this roster. I think Punk has looked really strong when he's in. I feel like we said that a ton. And then the DPS line, as of late, has been playing up to their potential. So this one could be interesting.
I mean, we have Valentine's Genji, which is also an extremely strong pick for this team. Both teams are, particularly good at adding Genji into their compositions. Bear in mind, this is the Boston Uprising that fell in 5 maps against the Houston Outlaws a little bit earlier this week. So there shouldn't be any doubt that this team's got the goods. This team has what it takes, and they're probably pretty pissed off. I'll be honest with you. They're probably not happy at all with how this
they're pissed. Yeah, they're really angry. They're ready to go. As Punk is like yawning with the nicest face possible.
That's an Australian. That's an Australian pissed off. That's all I'm trying to say. Let's have a look at the other side. Let's have a look. I tell you, someone who when he's mad on the NYXL is Yaki. See it in his face. See how this team really, or at least on his face cam, just how much his frustration and consequently his attempts to solo carry the game tend to come out here. This is a team that is still looking for that second victory here. And again, New York, we've talked about this team a ton. We just said, like, there's not a good reason for this roster to not be good, and yet here we are. And people are sick of saying how good the players are. Like, this is just not this is not good enough from the Excelsior this season.
Right. In between, I was thinking a lot this morning, in between thinking about practice and whatnot, about like this New York roster and Yaki specifically, and it's eventually that fantastic individual play has to turn into team success at one point, right? And I feel like maybe with some of the Florida rosters you can make the case that like the rosters didn't have like some of the biggest talent or best talent in the league at that time. They ended up like leveling up a bit, right? And they had some good runs. And then you come over to New York and the roster's like, pretty good. Nothing to look at, nothing bad at. And you got one win to show for it. It's like eventually, it's got to turn, right? Like, you can either turn that fantastic individual play to success, or, you just put up like crazy numbers and performances on like middling teams.
New York, middling team, honestly might be a little bit of a polite way to sort of refer to how they've gone so far this season. See, obviously, Myeonbong and Punk exchanging some greetings. Teammates of old here. Valentine pretending that he in fact does not hail from South Korea in the chat. Okay, fair enough. All right, so yeah, no translations. Anybody? No shortage of pleasantries exchanged here in this matchup. It all begins on New Queen Street, and there's no way we're going to see the battle cattle. No, Punk, settle down.
You never know. Look,
the last person
wild things happen. Last game of a stage. Who knows? Yeah, I think it was the Justice. I think that was the last time we saw it.
Oh dear. On Lijiang.
The battle cattle hasn't come out to play. Yep. So right. Boston going to go Sojourn with Genji. New York, this is where they looked pretty good on the other day, right? You know, Yaki on the Genji specifically, I think when we were casting, it was like Circle Royale. He was incredible.
Oh yeah, it helped that Kangnam had like 10 final blows in that map.
Yeah.
So his Zenyatta's starting to look pretty frightening. So we get a bit of neutral here. Notice those disrupt the shots to deny the high ground poke from New York, but they don't have any sort of long range hit scans, so Victoria doesn't need to really worry about that. And Valentine's been able to pick up Kellen here. Just a lot of pressure on that Dukas, plus the Discord Orb. And New York weren't ready to get him out of trouble. I don't know how they didn't rotate the Doom away.
Yeah, there's really no opportunity to there. Is no, just a contest coming in on the bot. I believe that is Flora down there. Is a Seismic Slam, just kind of like posturing on this corner. Like, what are you really trying to get out of this if you're Boston? I guess, you know, you get Yaki weak. You can actually just buy yourself some free bot movement up the street, but it seems like that fight's just lasting for so long.
No, both these teams are content to sort of play around the statue, right, in this neutral fashion for quite some time. New York need to be in a position to make a move at some stage. Valentine, again, is the first to sort of take some steps forward here. Drawn out contest on the bot. Yaki's still looking for that first opportunity. He's been very cagey, and I think Flora might be the one to set him up for this, and so he is. Yaki, quick double. He'll be pleased with that one here, but needs to be careful. Valentine pressuring. It will be a 2 for 2 ultimately.
Yeah, a bit of a trade there, and the bot just not moving at all. So kills being exchanged by both sides. The objective basically just standing in the middle of the map. It's gotten wild here in Overwatch 2.
We've seen some weird games last couple days.
We have seen some weird games the last few days. I also think, like, going to 5-on-5, I don't think one of the things you looked at the most was who was going to be standing on the objective or doing the objective, because usually you were able to put like a Lucio or a Diva, like your off tank on the objective. Don't really have that capability anymore, so it's become a little bit of a free-for-all where players who are used to not playing the objective now have to. I think that's why you've seen some of the weird things lately with, you know, just games abruptly ending, C9s happening, just wild lately.
Yeah, the previous game, right, featuring the Fuel and the Spitfire. Plenty of those there, appropriately, of course, if you know the origin of the meme. Valentine is down, though, so a really extended poke duration there, which is odd because New York are playing a composition that doesn't want to poke at all. Everyone's built up their ultimates here. Transcendence in play now. Victoria, yeah, and Victoria has no targets at all.
So we're 3 minutes into this game, and he only got like 32 meters to show for New York. Like, they're in the lead with this. Like, typically, this is what you would see off of the team winning a first fight and just standing on the objective, right? There's been so much just kind of like trading and poking in the neutral. Like, it almost feels like nobody wants to like commit, like get a, you know, you get a kill and then just try and go. Seems like both teams waiting for like the perfect opportunity to strike.
Well, Valentine thought that might have been it. Oh, he still gets Yaki despite the Transcendence. Was that a biotic grenade on Yaki? May well have been. Sleep was there, but it's a bit late. In keeping with the theme of this match so far, though, Boston take the one kill, and then we're sort of back to an extended stagger.
And keep in mind Johnny's point on the desk, where New York does not want to push map. Currently in the lead here at this moment in time, but they have the bot. They're going to pick up a few kills here, so they should be able to get some progress. You know, they're starting to put things together, Boston. The bad part is they're going to be walking right into a Yaki Dragon Blade here shortly.
Yeah, Crimzo, no Transcendence yet, so this one could be a little bit frightening. There's plenty of time for Myeonbong to build that nano boost up. The story is that Boston is starting to look to equalize here. 34 is where New York had made it. Yaki having to play, he can't go in now. Bite a grenade. He'll try and play close if he can. Okay, here it is. Blade. Oh, what is this game? Deflect there, looking to hit that game. The Zenyatta, excuse me, but he gets kicked backwards Flora got some value with his ultimate though, but Yaki got deep fried.
Just the gap he had to close with the blade to anybody. And then did you see, as soon as he closes the gap, he just gets kicked in the face and just is now not able to do anything. That is brutal right there. Now Boston will take the lead, so.
I mean,
what else is he supposed to do? I mean,
nothing.
Nice kill there from Valentine, but what is he supposed to do in that situation? Like, he's trying to make a play with a blade. Everybody's so far away.
Well, why are you so
use the dash to get there? Like,
okay, New York have allowed this to some degree to occur, I suppose, by giving a fair bit of space up here.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have any, like Boston. I mean, look at how this is setting up, Mitch. 5 ultimates here with the card at this moment in time against New York, who has nothing to work with.
And Valentine is so clean with it. So clean with it. But this
may be a map completion. Because you're looking across the board. Meteor Strike probably comes online. Gainogen, he'll get staggered out. So, you know, it's going to be rough for him to have that transcendence at the end. Because you could keep, like, if you're Boston, I keep pushing forward here. Like, yeah, this is really nice. Use overclock. You start picking up some of these kills.
The bot's moving away. The bot's moving away.
Who was on the bot?
Hello, somebody.
Is that Flora back there? All right, well, Flora's getting the bot going the other way. That's actually a pretty sick play.
Absolutely.
Like, that's a really sick play.
It cancels out Victoria's ultimate, essentially. Well, because he can't fly anymore. They're going to go back for him.
Even more important than that, all the kills that Boston got, like pushing forward and trying to stagger them out, go for nothing because now New York's back at full strength. And they have some ultimates to work with. So, like, Flora may have just saved a full map completion there by getting on the bot.
Yeah, we might never know just how impactful that was, but I think we're in agreement that it was
in another universe. It's probably played out where Flora doesn't get on the bot.
Yeah.
And those people know.
Oh, man. All right, so bot heading back towards neutral now. And you're right, the Uprising had such a big ult bait now. They're gone. Gangnam goes for a transcendence here.
It looked like Valentine was right on top of him.
Well, he gets valued
out.
Flora's able to peel back.
Boston's gotten so much progress there. You're not forced to use some of these ultimates and fight this if you don't want to. You're gonna have New York get back to like the middle of the map. They're gonna now start to get into Boston territory, but Boston gonna be able to play for the high ground here. They have a lot of opportunities to fight from.
Punk bioed there. Yikes! Yep, nice connection from Myeonbong.
That's a good follow-up.
Flora went on in after it. Now it looks like New York are a little bit more comfortable going forward. Flora exemplifying that statement there. There's a ton of pressure on a Victoria, and Flora's able to pick him off at long range there. I call that follow-up as well here. It's going to be a... Wait a minute. Valentine rather gets the nano. Oh. Myeonbong's in deep trouble. Yeah, deflected the bio just quietly. Bit of flare, bit of flashy play from Valentine. Who really has looked fantastic lately. Yep.
Yeah, he has looked really clean there. He's not exactly thrilled with the way he died, but yeah, he looked really good there on the Genji. So able to get the deflect, pick up 2 more. For a second there, I was like, oh man, this might be a little early. If he doesn't get anything with that, New York able to keep that going. They have a nano blade of their own. Like that could have been a little bit of a redo of Titan's Justice yesterday.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But Boston
doesn't look like anything to me, Matt.
Some kills.
All right, 4 ultimates here for New York again. So Boston again fighting uphill in terms of ultimate economy.
Yeah, with a minute 40 though, Mitch, the biggest thing that New York's actually up against here, and which plays like Boston's strength, is unironically like that little nipple butt scratch area we talk about, right? It's going to be 2 kills with the blade, because even though you win this fight, the bot is still going to stop for a period of time. It's not just going to like run its way through where you can make up this distance in fast time. You're going to have to get this bot to the point, unlock that checkpoint. It's going to stay there for a bit. And even then, you haven't gotten it to the checkpoint yet. You have to fight for it, right? So you're able to just put in so much clock here from your boss, if you're Boston, and you control the high ground in this area. So really, if you're Boston, you kind of looked at once you got this big lead, like, hey, do not let them cap that point, and let's rely around that. Nice transcendence there, able to save Kellen.
I mean, Victoria is, just sitting still. No one putting any pressure on him because he knows he's really safe at that sort of range here. Boston able to reclaim the bot here after New York spent 4 ultimates in their previous fight.
They know, right?
Back. Yeah, let's say they do. Let's say they do. Right?
30 seconds.
Oh, God.
All right, they're going back now. So the players come out the spawn now, and I mean, that is massive because you're getting close, like, to getting that objective, which is one of the hardest parts to break through. If you're New York, you're like trading back and forth, like, probably not the best opportunity to, but all right, get back on the bomb. Yeah, we got to keep it moving here.
Yeah. It's a backbreaker because they still didn't, I mean, they still haven't gotten to the butt scratch here, yeah, so they have to win quite a few fights here. Do the Excelsior. Let's see. Oh, blade from floor. Right, a bomb from floor. Excuse me. Good start here. Crimzo is out of the picture. There's still a nano, though, here for MCD. Maybe for Punk? Yes. He'll dive in now, straight to the high ground. And he eliminates Gungan instantly. Now he's got a bit of freedom. It doesn't look like Kellen was ready for that. So he takes a big hit from Punk as he connects there with the fist. Floor as well, trying to stay alive here. But Punk doesn't really have to do anything but stay around the bot and keep flinging fists. Boston Uprising take New Queen Street away, and the woes continue for New York when it comes to push maps.
Yeah, and although push is a neutral objective mode, there's still like a little bit of an offensive and defensive flow to it. And I thought Boston taking the right fights at the right chokes was huge there. And then also Boston being able to rack up some of those ultimates and push right past New York. They're doing a nice job staggering them out. Gave them so much extra progress.
Wow, MCD in the chat with a Genji gap there. I mean, Yaki can't be pleased with that one.
He's not the one playing Genji. I mean, I feel like play the Genji to say Genji gap. But,
yeah, but possibly, yeah. It looks like that wasn't something Valentine was willing to ascribe his name to. Regardless, it's a Boston lead here early on in the series. Let's see if New York, let's see if they have anything, rather, at all, after the break. So far, this series has been a tale of two tentative teams on New Queen Street. Neither the Uprising or the Excelsior really wanted to play aggressively at the start of that map, but eventually began to open up as players acclimated. But I tell you what, it was an odd one to be sure, Matthew.
Yeah, a bit of an odd one for the beginning, right? The first like 3-4 minutes, a bit odd. Boston got something going on offense, and New York never able to push past that really important part of the map we were highlighting. So it ends with the Boston Uprising win. New York, no win still yet on push.
Yeah.
Which is tough. I mean, look, it's the newest game mode, right? So a little bit of benefit of doubt there, but if it's sometimes 2 times in a series, like, you got to be able to win at least, you know, some. Kind of chalking that up to be down 0-1 potentially. Like, every series you're going to have a push at the start. It's going to put you in a terrible spot.
Yeah, not a way you want to begin these series, and I think Johnny pointed out it's double push a week.
It's a great point, Mitch. Don't want to be down 0-1 in a series.
I mean, you don't want to start every series down 0-1, is what I mean. So on double push week.
That's how you end up 1-10.
This is not good for the mental, you know?
No, it's...
I mean, they have to play Coliseum in map 5 here, so...
you just got to get one. Like, I feel like getting over the hurdle is probably the toughest part, right? Just getting that first one, be like, okay, like, look, we can do it. I'm sure they've been in close ones, right? Top of my head. Can't exactly kind of think of every, you know, in New York Excelsior push map, but just getting that one win kind of takes everybody a little bit of a sigh of relief. You're able to do so. In New York with a Winston up on the high ground. See what Boston does?
Boston hasn't beat them in 4 years? Oh my God. Fair enough. Season 1 was the last time this franchise had a win against New York. All right. Well, suffice to say, things have changed.
It's a long time
since then. That's a long time.
Yeah, I mean, in those 4 years, the Giants have still been bad, and the Patriots have still been good. So some things change, some things don't. That's a crazy shot, by the way. And Victoria did it so casually, right? The grapple up, the Winston's there. That's a tough shot.
That just completely gutted your high ground hold. That obnoxious Winston base setup on defense. Forget about it. That one's gone down the gurgler.
Man, now you just got to run as...
You just got to run. What? Run back? Run away?
I mean, they're running away. I mean, but you're not going to run forward. I mean, you're going to run forward after you lose.
They're playing a dive comp. Yeah, eventually they're going to dive forward. Was this a bloody...
Yeah, they're going to wait for the Tracer to get back.
Just got to run.
You know.
All right, come on.
Are you coaching some of these teams down at the bottom? Is this what you're telling them?
I mean, for all you know,
get a little side hustle.
It's called entrepreneurship, Matthew. Right, Boston are all over this, like moss on a rock, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's Kangnanjin trying to play safely in their back corner, and Flora's bomb doesn't find too much. Still not bad from the Zen.
Yeah, this is what kind of I always feel weird about watching like this New York team, is that'll be the objective going in first. Like, in theory, this should be a comp that they're like really good at, right? And that they excel at. I know with Yaki and Flora on the Tracer Genji, it just seems like, and I believe it was the last time we cast it, like they were able to put together a few times, but it just seems like they are not on the same page. Like not really playing around Kellen as much, where not following up kind of the space that he opens and, you know, kind of collapsing on the same targets. It's really kind of been the demise of this type of comp for them, where, you know, they have the players to execute it, I believe.
Hi, Victoria. Yeah, that's the source, my guy. Nicely done. First it was a Widow headshot, now a Pulse Bomb,
and they
ruining New York.
Dude.
Yeah, what's that gonna do? Sweet Fanny Adams. Kangnamjin gets removed by Punk as soon as he comes out of the Transcendence. Yaki able to find a little bit of action here, right? There's a Primal Rage in play from Kellen, but is it a stall? Yes, and he really doesn't get much value out of it. He's forced away from the fight there pretty quickly.
So a benefit here for New York is you're going to have a Nano Blade opportunity here, and there's no Transcendence on the other side. It would have to be a big sleep from MCD. So you imagine New York wants to go fast and use this. They don't want to allow just more free payload push coming in here.
Punk up stairs, Myeonbong pressured. Meteor Strike. Meteor Strike there. Is that aggressively used? Punk was, I don't know, relatively healthy. That's a nice catch though. Kellen Falls into the blade from Valentine here. Timing of the Dragon Blade, timing out.
The blade's going to come out from Yaki?
Yaki can't find him. Yaki can't find Valentine. He gets snarled up trying to deal with Punk. God, that blade is not what New York needed. He couldn't find the Genji. Valentine just stuck to the roof like Spider-Man.
But maybe you back out a second and you get the nano, and then you can kind of come in here with your tank and the nano blade and put a tempt here at the end. They're going to nano Kellen to keep him alive on the cart.
Yeah, Discord Orb on him.
You just back away, though. You just back away if you're Boston. There's no reason to stand there and fight the nano Winston.
You're the one who made the call. Just run. You said just run. I'm telling you, maybe you're the one coaching this team, mate. Huh? Gee, Flora removed by Victoria in that duel. Another Gangnam Jin elimination is good, but it's rarely enough to get this team out of the doldrums. And again, they fall. 4 minutes and 7 seconds on the clock for Boston. And on they march.
It just seems like some kind of like bad ultimate usage, or no, not reading the situation, because you had time, right? If you're in New York to wait for Myungbang, sure, maybe Myungbang has to like nano you closer from like the spawn or something like that. But you would have jumped in there with like Kellen and Yaki with a blade and gotten in there, and you're gonna lose Yaki here first. As things just seem to be falling apart for New York.
Yeah, Yaki there gets called. And New York forced to give up a lot of ground here, trying to regroup. Flora though, able to at least keep Victoria and Crimzo at bay. Elimination on the Zenyatta. New York can play around this Transcendence to a degree. But that card is, well, I mean, you can see the clock, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of publicly available information here that doesn't make things look great for New York.
Yeah, they're going to try and set up maybe a dive here on the high ground, go right on top of Gangnam Jin. You see Punk like through the X right here. They're trying to like line this up, communicate with each other.
Victoria knows he can get close to a pulse by hitting that Winston.
Yeah, there's a Transcendence right away.
Forced.
Well, it's the nano on Punk coming right in.
Yeah, can't do anything about it. That pulse there came out for Victoria. There was no connection. Valentine, though, getting rid of Flora. A lot of DPS on DPS eliminations here. There's the Uprising. I mean, Yaki has to be really careful here. He's being topped up from the background, but if he plays out of line of sight of Myungbang, he'll explode.
I mean, Valentine got quite low there as well.
Yaki trying to stave Valentine off. Valentine happy enough with creating a bit of space here. And here comes Yaki's blade. He gets punched to start with, but he'll be able to chase Punk down. It'll be Gangnam Jin actually with that elimination. And that's it for Yaki. Another blade that doesn't really hit the mark, but it's enough to stop the Uprising for now.
It is. Interesting, like I thought the use of the pulse bump there by Flora, he's obviously trying to stick Valentine, but it prevented him from coming around the corner. May have been able to take out like Kellen or even Yaki at that moment in time, but no ultimates on both sides. Do you just play for a nano here? Do you just like let your tank, just kind of take damage? It looks like they body blocked Kellen up there, and he got hit with the nade. Yeah,
that's really nicely done. Great punish on the main tank here. That card's on the move once more. Punk hoping to peel. Yaki is
really
deep
nice.
trouble. I mean, you're caught in a hallway anyway. The Doomfist is, blindly he could find it. Pin the fist on the Genji's face. Fun party game, that one. But the Transcendency for Gangnam Jin.
Yeah, we've seen Hawk do that as well. On the Doom, being able to go back and help the supports.
I feel like Dante's actually one of the most peel-oriented Dooms I've seen in the league as well. There it is. That'll get the card along the line here for the Uprising. Not too shabby. Slowed down, but still, I mean, yeah, a minute 21 on the clock here. Expect the Uprising to feel pretty comfortable right now.
Yeah, still a really good time there for Boston as they've come into this series. I know you like to call them sleeper games, right? They've come into this series so far like looking like no nonsense, right? They just want to get New York out of here as fast as possible. They brought them today, right? The shot from Victoria at the start onto Flora was nasty. That pretty much gave them that first point. Like nothing really was able to get formed from New York on defense there. Second point, maybe you could have like grouped up, used some better ultimates, drawn the clock out for New York, but Boston consistently getting those first picks. And then there towards the end, as soon as they get the cart far enough, they get that kill on the Kellen and things fall apart.
Ready for battle.
Valentine is 11-1. Victoria 8-0. That's final blows to deaths, ladies and gentlemen. Very comfortable. We talked about a lot of this DPS versus DPS success that the Uprising have been getting. Make no mistake, Victoria. Pulse comes in there, beautiful. Gets a lot of damage on Kellen there as well. May as well have been a double pulse bomb kill. Named after a queen, but make no mistake, that's a king right there.
We'll see They won't play Winston here on defense, Boston. They'll actually play with the Doomfist, where we see a lot of teams opt for the Winston on defense. So Victoria will also play Widow.
I suppose
A lot of damage on to Kellen right away.
Kellen is he's been put on notice for sure.
So you lose the bubble without having the Winston on defense. Just to be able to kind of like play this corner a little bit, maybe more aggressively. But Punk has done such a great job peeling and also putting pressure on the support. So whether it be like Gangnam Jin or Myungbong coming up with a kill on them each time, maybe it's just kind of like, hey, we don't need to hold that part of the map, right? We can kind of force New York into some of these other areas, and Punk can go crazy and wreck the back line.
I'd say like functionally they're probably pretty similar. Punk's probably had way more reps on the Doomfist with he's on a team with Itzal, for God's sake, so more likely this is just a comfort thing. Slept there, well, yeah, slept there. As he turned around, the power block wasn't enough to keep him alive there. No one from the Uprising appeared to be in the vicinity either. A lot of this is setting Victoria up for safe sidelines, or MCD if that may be the case. And okay, you lose your maintain, your short hander, you still win.
Valentine was so low, and MCD doing a tremendous job keeping him alive all through that. See, he knows exactly where these players are going to try and rotate to, just kind of cut them off.
All right, Valentine will be topped up there. This is great. I mean, Punk's back in play. You know how quickly Doomfist can cross the map here. So very rare that you see this, actually. The team holding that sort of high ground defense, losing their main tank first, and hardly being moved at all.
Right. Able to kind of stay there and fight. I really think MCD was enormous during that. Able to keep Valentine alive. This time, though, not able to jump up above, but it doesn't matter. You kind of trade out this. Crimzo's going to take out Yaki. Kill's still going in favor of Boston.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He's pumping heals, MCD. Myungbong is forced out of the way from the threat of Punk here, who really doesn't seem to be feeling the pinch himself.
Yeah, MCD's had a really strong half so far here on D. Now you're going to have to wait here, right? You don't want to push into this.
Yeah,
this would be a nutty shot if his head like peeked out.
I mean, yeah, again, he's just looking to play some pretty wide sight lines here. There's a primal rage for Kellen, so should expect Victoria to feel some pressure in this next fight. Again, a nano blade is on the cards for Yaki. Myungbong going down first, and the Transcendence after the fact. That's very bad for New York. They've got to go and get some value out of it now, and so they do. MCD's down, but Punk immediately responds. Yaki can only trade at best, and the same can be said of Flora. That's rough stuff, and the Uprising can still do this.
Well, I mean, so New York is going to come back. Like 45 seconds on the clock. They'll get everybody back full strength here. Come back and fight this. You'll have the Nano Blade. No Transcendence available for Crimzo. Had to use it to try to kind of save himself from Kellen. But you have a blade of your own, and you're going to lose Flora.
Kidding? Oh my goodness. This is tragic. I mean, Boston really testing ragdoll effects? No, he's just, well, oh God. Oh no.
Can he come around this corner and just...
What is afoot here? What is he cooking, Matt?
He's playing Splinter Cell or something.
No, he's playing Metal Gear Solid. He's got the box on his head right now.
yeah.
He's going up the corridor, you know?
He's gonna just wreck him with this.
Oh my Lord, Snake! Is that you? Yaki able to respond at the very least here, but the best he can do is shut down against Genji Dad as usual. That's just not enough, is it? That might well be the new slogan for this team. Yaki looking to go in. Crimzo, couple orbs deflected his way, kept topped up though by MCD. The Boston Uprising, they're sitting pretty right now. It's just Flora, and he really has to try and blink away. Myungbong here, stepping up on the Lucio of all things. So Punk, considering his next move here, the pressure on Myungbong as Valentine switches to the Symmetra, of course. Very normal, very reasonable. Okay, well, that was a map of Overwatch that happened.
That was a sick play from Valentine, though. Being able to get in that position and not be seen. When we go on board with him, he's actually like going around the outside, and Yaki is right in front of him. He easily could have just like dashed forward and meleeed and probably killed Yaki. Decided, play the long game, play a little bit more patient, right? It's something we talk about maybe New York trying to do in certain situations. And it comes up big, able to get both supports with that blade.
Yeah, I mean, and Yaki pulls his out after. It's like the third time this game when Yaki sort of bladed second and has tried to like even the ledger and just hasn't been able to do it here. So it's very difficult for New York here. They are struggling to come up with an answer. They're losing on the fundamentals. So forget about the strategy, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around, Midtown. How appropriate. Right around the corner.
Hit my baby G-Shock, said it's time. All my thoughts linked up, multiplying, no divide. Dropping hit after hit, never miss, it's a crime. But my karma stay lit, Buddha sit by my side.
Can't believe we're saying this already. It's the final day of our qualifier matches before the Midseason Madness Global Tournament. Don't forget to lock in your picks for the coming weeks over at pick'em.overwatchleague.com for a chance to earn cash prizes and, most importantly, bragging rights. Yeah, you're about to do that, of course, over at our Pick'em site. Bear in mind, it's not next week. We've got a little bit of a break, right? Because teams need to travel. They got to schlep across the ocean.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, not next week, week after.
No,
just probably in the
whoever wrote this copy. You know, it's
probably in the next week or so. You'll get to have everybody come out and say, I know exactly what's going to happen. Here's my bracket. See what they put together, and it'll be something that nobody expects. Because that's typically what we get happen. Although not happening in this series, kind of going as we almost expected, where Boston is really New York, Mitch. I think if you were to kind of summarize like their team right now, it is the play where Yaki pulls out the blade and just tries to go like 1v3, 1v4, instead of just waiting like 2 seconds for the Nano and Kellen to come.
Wasn't that Yaki on the Mayhem as well, though? Am I wrong?
It maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like you kind of like look back at it, right?
I'm not necessarily saying he's the problem. I'm just saying he's gone from one team that struggled to find success to another team that struggled to find success, and I mean the symptoms that we're pointing at look reminiscent of one another. I'm serious. I'm not saying Yaki's problem, chat. Right, relax. But you know, it must be frustrating for him to be in what feels like maybe a similar situation, where he, for whatever reason, feels it's up to him in those moments to try and make the play. And this is, look, in 5v5, I believe in individual playmaking. I think it makes perfect sense. Yeah. Yaki, though, seems like he's forced to try and make that happen really frequently.
Well, are you forced to make it happen? Like, is the other team forcing you to make it happen, or is he forcing it to make? Yeah, they feel that he needs to do that. But
again, I dance around that using some flowery language by saying he feels like he's forced to, right? But I think your question is still valid. For what reason is this the case? I mean, you're on a 1 in 10 team. You're trying to win a game. I mean,
or just put yourself in a better situation, right? Even if he felt forced, he'd do probably better with the Nano going in and Kellen as well there on the Winston help him out than going in solo. But Boston, see what they come out with here at the start. Victoria on the Sojourn, Valentine going over to the Genji. So nothing too crazy here for either side. New York opting to go with the Doomfist on defense here. No like longer range, medium range hit scan. Sometimes we see that. I know there'll be a Sojourner and Ash here, but biotic grenades on both sides, kicking things off in the choke as everybody moves back.
Yumbong, he's busy, and he's going to stay busy at this rate. So the Valentine Genji back on deck. Yaki's considering, do I fight Valentine? Can I fight him? The answer is yes. With 3 players on your team, you can. Yaki able to send that rail back to whence it came. Good start here for New York.
That's a really nice sleep on the Kellen, and then Punk gets right in the mix, trying to help out, but
how did no one from Boston get eliminated there?
That's crazy. Yeah, that's really good just kind of reaction from Boston with Punk, being able to get in the mix of the power block. MCD with a sleep on Kellen coming in.
Okay, Kellen really nanoed. He's able to get Crimso there. You'd want to hope so, I guess, at that point, but he's surrounded by foes. So 2 for 2 so far. Kellen headlining, Punk. Yeah, that's Zenyatta. Yeah, that's what he does. Flora recalling
trying to get that
there.
Health pack.
Yaki's playing Peel Genji right now. Both of those sort of kills that came as a result of turning back towards his backline. So nice to see that. It's paid off twice now. But the Uprising want to keep the pressure on. Spawn advantage and all that.
Well, they know that. Yeah, they know that it's just Yaki and Gangnam Jin here on the side. Nobody's crossed. They've had vision on that cross the entire time. So you know these 2 players on the side are isolated. You can just go push in, take them out. Now you start to think, how can New York bounce back here? Do they want to fight this? You have a Transcendence if you want to get on the point, keep it going. You have the Blade coming up. See if they come out to contest.
Kellen looking at it now. Straight for Crimso. It's a beeline. Crimso will be topped up though. Kellen is not close enough, and now he's out of the fight. That bio's going to make this take even longer. So Yaki, please don't pull the blade. This is definitely not the time for that.
It is wild that you said that, because in my head I was like, is he going to pull the blade here?
I wouldn't have said it if I didn't think the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, look, what we just saw from Kellen there was so emblematic of New York's struggles right now. He goes in there, he's hit with the bio, so he's waiting for a Mega to respawn, can't get it. Then he slept straight away, and he's on his own the whole time. It is a retake attempt, I know, but that's often been the case for this dude. Kellen really also having to play. This is a team of individuals.
Right, like Kellen hasn't looked mechanically bad on any of the tanks that he's played.
No,
it's just, I feel like that they just have not been, it just seems like everybody's on their own little kind of mission here. We just got to get everybody on the same page.
We throw like cohesion around so much as like a justification in Overwatch for like teams looking weak because we don't want to accuse individuals. But here I think like you can see cohesion just breaking down in real time from New York.
Well, because, I mean, you look at the rosters and kind of maybe it's just off of a name basis. Nano comes in here for Valentine the Blade. That's going to get the Transcendence and Meteor Strike out.
I think he got what he came for.
Yeah, you look at the rosters on both sides and you know, you really like the talent on New York, but Boston, now they're very close in terms of talent. Just a very, just fundamentally sound squad.
Yaki Blade. Okay, he was chasing Victoria there, able to find him. There was a Bionic Grenade on the Sojourn anyway. Crimson wants to throw some hands, and Punk's already dealing with his... Oh, okay, that's 3 for Punk. Nicely done.
Yeah. So, you don't really have to... After Yaki gets it first, you don't really have to deal with it, right? As Crimson gets far enough away. I think the biggest thing is going to be this turn here, right? You're going to be able to get you're going to be able to get Victoria up on the high ground as Yaki trying to make a little bit of a flank play here.
He can't see anything, but he hears the Zen on the high ground. That's nice. He hides in wait for a decent amount of time. The bio is frustrating. Good deflect timing there for Yaki. He's able to stay around in this fight. So
yeah, that's really nice.
Cleanup.
Yeah, good sneaky play. But that time it looked like more as a team play, right? They kind of collapsed. Able to get right on top of the players up on the high ground. It's Punk charging up, tries to charge up a punch there off of maybe the Disruptor shot damage.
Yeah, quite possibly, right? Linger inside that. It's blanket damage reduction, so. Trying to deny that high ground away from Yaki, though it's not going to work. 1 minute 40 left in the round here. Valentine living dangerously as Gangnam sends a salvo his way again. There's going to be a nano coming up from Yumbong here.
Nice shot.
Nicely done from Flora.
Yeah, and since Flora's gone over the Sojourn, you've been able to put together a few defenses here as he's been able to put down some just consistent damage at range, and then you're able to follow up on that damage. He's putting down as you'll have an overclock here, you'll have your nano, everything online here for New York, so they're in a prime position to prevent Boston from taking the second checkpoint.
Yeah, Boston
huge.
really taking their sweet time here, right? A little unsure about how to proceed, but sometimes, well, the floodgates open. Victoria there, punching one into Flora's cranium, and Punk is well and truly in the back line here. Disruption is really just the aim right now. Meteor Strike to reposition, perhaps, yes. Kellen's causing problems, so maybe Punk's trying to peel as Victoria now, and Crimso can take up that high ground spot.
Yeah, it looks like Yaki around that corner. He's going to get met right there by Flora and co, but Youngmung was able to get the kill. They sleep. Punk there, looks like, so 30 seconds on the clock. New York still holding strong here.
Quite tense these moments. New York able to filter back in with a couple of players and stop the Uprising once more. Big sleep on Punk was a big part of that. Myeonbong had an excellent fight just now after picking up Crimso. All right, here it is. Overclock for Victoria. NYXL, they hit the deck.
It just doesn't, I mean, what, it gets some high ground control, but really he's not able to spot anything there.
Great sleep off the Nano Blade. Myeonbong is taking this game into his own hands right now. Gangnam with the Transcendence there, and Flora's able to finish the job. Valentine is down. Crimso Valley tried to hold his ground as well. Flora making him dance for him. And that will be that. Good hold for New York here, and great couple of fights on Myeonbong specifically.
Yeah, no, really good hold there for New York. So that they start to put it together. It's kind of what you like to see is, Flora on the Sojourn was hitting some shots, big kills there towards the end. Yeah, like you mentioned, the sleep on the Punk was also massive. So, we'll see, maybe New York can steal this map. Send you to control, right? The only thing that's that downside is that final map would be a push, which I know they have not been successful on this year.
No. Colosseo. Would probably see Flora. Maybe we can switch back to a Tracer, where I feel like we've been impressed with this Sojourn, at least on this map. Flora, obviously, traditionally, hit scan player. A lot of that, a lot of Ashe, some Widow, you know, during New York's stay over in APAC. So, that's kind of what he's been known for here. Now, whether or not he's panned out as the prospect that so many people expected, well, no, but he's outlasted Guangbung at least, so there's that.
I mean, Flora, we've seen him play really strong, you know, in the eastern region. This is the...
I mean, I think this team was really middling even in that region, right? This New York squad back then. Look, it's a very different team. Obviously, Florida Mayhem loses Yaki and Gangnam into this team. Yeah. Nice job catching some of those Myeonbong moments there. We've got to spend time and appreciate those with how hard we've been on New York this match for a good reason, though. Let's see if they can stay alive, get a map here as they go on the attack.
I think it's different. Like you see Flora get that early pick. I think it's different when you're like hard on a team like New York because you're hard on them because you know what they're capable of, right? And you just want them to reach that level. Because this, you know, they put it together. I think we said it the last time we were casting them. Like this would be a really exciting team. Like you put this together and started to get on the same page.
This is looking better and better by the moment for New York. Found a little bit of focus, maybe found a way to get in lockstep with one another. Even with Kellum being slept there was no chance for the Uprising to follow up, and Flora finds another big opener. Victoria's down again. Very good. They'll have a huge time bank.
Oh, the map. I mean, yeah, this is their game to lose right now in the situation that they're in. 5 minutes plus on the clock. You kind of wipe the floor with them at the beginning, so you have a better, you know, kind of road to ultimates, let's say, coming up. I mean, this is prime for a New York win here.
And there it is. They're starting to feel themselves a little more now. That momentum is building. Yaki chases Valentine down, and now New York are winning the DPS, all DPS fighting. Yaki's in there, proper good. This is going to hold up the Uprising. Punk needs to try and find a way to get them out, and a nano boost. Not a terrible way to do it here. Nice, another
nano against the nano against the Doom in a close corridor area. You know, yeah, Doom's going to start putting in work. So Boston finally got a hold. Looks like things were going to just go all in New York's favor here. Is going to take a look from Punk's POV. Yeah, the seismic slam into the punch. Does so much damage.
Played here from Yaki, immediately eliminating Valentine. Can he find more? He's hit with a Discord orb, but it doesn't seem to bother him. That Transcendence is, well, you know it. It's late as heck.
My ultimate is charging.
Beautiful from Yaki.
Boston just getting bullied here. Oh man, you're gonna get the payload moving. It's gonna go right through that underpass, like one of the harder areas of the map, and you're gonna come out here on Boston and have another shot. But I mean, they got high ground control for the Zen. I mean, there's so much you got to deal with here. It's gonna be tough. Even if you win this, man, I mean, you're gonna have like 3 minutes plus on the clock still.
Yeah, I wonder if they're not thinking about the next map already here. Boston gonna push out now. Punk drops in, eliminated by Flora with that overclock immediately. New York have so many ultimates to work with now. Valentine, can he bail them out? That's Flora and Myeonbong both down. Only the Zen left for New York here, and here come the reinforcements for Boston. Crims are on the point, but a lot of damage coming from Yaki, and Kellen arrives at just the right time to punctuate the point for New York at the end of a fist. That'll be that.
It looked like for a second, yeah, it looked like for a second maybe Boston was going to pull something out there, but yeah, New York comes up huge here on Midtown. Really, it's such an odd performance because of the way the series has gone so far, but just shows you the heights they can reach. Is they'll take Midtown, they'll send it to a game 4 control, an opportunity to win there, and then you get a game 5. I said to Midge before this match started, I was like, I sense a game 5 in this one. Might be where we're headed.
Yeah, you're dead right, Matt. It could be on the cards. Control is just around the corner. Stick around, as now New York have decided to wake up and mount their comeback. like apparently if you prod them enough with a stick or make cajoling remarks, that the New York Excelsior will wake up and show us some pretty good Overwatch, apparently. Nicely done on that Midtown attack, really clean. And the defense prior to that was also very solid. We're starting to see now, you know, a bit more of that cohesion that we sort of lamented an absence of, Matt. But there's also Yaki's hero plays look much better framed, you know, in the context of the rest of his team, you know, making use of that momentum and playing as a unit.
Yeah, and I thought Flora was really good there on the Sojourn. I think maybe we see him play that again, whether it be here on Ilios or if we make it to Coliseum towards the end of the series. But yeah, that was just a glimpse of like what New York is capable of, right? Putting that together. Like I thought this team was going to be not like towards the top of the West, but I thought they would be, you know, more towards like the middle of the pack, kind of contending with teams almost like Toronto, but has not been the case thus far. But you see that at times, you know, that team does show up. They just did there on Midtown. They're really good.
And maybe we get that sort of Genji Tracer look from New York here again. Now, see, that's what they've been pushing the first couple of maps. But we liked Flora on that Sojourn a lot in the previous map. So seeing him run that back would probably be even more exciting as far as I'm concerned. For the Uprising, we probably don't expect them to do anything crazy, right? They're pretty locked in. Oh, what is like a Victoria, Sojourn, Valentine on the Tracer here, so no Genji. Huh.
See what they let's see what they decide to ultimately come out with. Flora probably will stay on the Sojourn for New York. We mentioned how much we like that pick with him being pretty good on it last map. I also think it makes it a little bit easier, Victoria going to the Widowmaker. It makes it a little bit easier because now Kellen, like when they're diving, really only kind of has to coordinate with Yaki, whereas like you're trying to like make it work with the Tracer and the Genji, like just kind of take one of those factors out and let Flora just play at a distance.
All right, here's that Widow. Nothing presenting itself yet for Victoria, who showed us some pretty insane shooting, especially on Dorado in the early phases of that map. Oh, that's not good, Victoria. Looking like a dog's breakfast in a few moments now. MCD, those topped him up. How? How did he get out of that alive? I don't understand.
To MCD, I mean, for all the times we've seen, like, you know, the damage dealers on Boston get low, I feel like he's been there every single time, keeping them up.
Did he sleep, the dude? Because that would maybe make more sense than Yaki. Can't deflect the Widow SMG shots, I suppose. No one's kept the point yet. Flora sliding on into the action. Sleep dart on Valentine in the back line, and Gangnam Jin going to clean him up there. That's beautiful from Yimbo.
But the way the fight was going, you would have thought that it was New York who took the point way earlier than what they did. Two players here with a biotic grenade there. They're going to use the nano here as well.
Okay, Flora gets a nano, fair enough, I guess. Punk not in a position to get healed. He was, yeah, if he'd eaten a rail on his way back towards MCD, it would have been donezo, but Boston still have the point. So we saw the investment of the nano there from Yombong, and it doesn't result in anything. MCD
kept Flora alive, but it's not enough.
Said that a few times this series. Punk is going to get the nano here, I'd say. MCD a little bit... Okay. Kellen, back to spawn with you. Think about what you've done. And Punk's having a chase down here. Oh, they're so dead. They're so dead.
This nano's not tremendous, right? But like, look at the amount that he's able to like push forward. You know, open this up for his team. You're going to get the supports here a little bit later. You know, Kellen doesn't really get those opportunities as frequently, where I feel like, you know, you kind of set up, play a little bit slower, and you're able to give him that type of resources. Like, I think you'd see similar performances that we're seeing like from Punk, from Kellen.
Sure. Kellen really, you know, I mean, he really tried to get into the back line there. So much so that it went over MCD's head. He only had eyes for Crimson or Victoria as it may have been there, but too much damage on the way in. Maybe biting off even more than he can chew. Victoria, again, is able to play pretty safely, especially getting a Venom Mine on Yaki's great. Gets that information, knows where to position himself, able to dodge that rail there, but Crimson not nearly as lucky, or fleet of foot.
Yeah, Crimson not as fast to be able to dodge that, but Pong takes out Gangnam Jin. Gangnam Jin actually had the Transcendence there at that time. It'll be a Meteor Strike, and all the rest of the kills here are going in favor of the Boston Uprising.
Punk got pumped with heals from MCD, who again, is just not being the target. Everyone's looking at Punk. I get it, he's low health, that's fair enough. MCD's just holding him one and whistling, attuned to himself as he makes Punk look nigh unkillable. 97% and counting. Victoria is starting to pop off in a big way now. It's another Genji kill. Gangnam Jin has no choice but to come to the point with that transcendence in play, but Kellen slept off the point. They'd be insane to wake him. Also, they do, but he's not aware of it either way. Punk will pressure this backline with the nano boost here and make short work of it there. Well, the New York Excelsior look more like a smear than a team right now.
And you just see how effective the Doomfist is when they get the effects of the nano boost, and Punk has been doing work with it for the Boston Uprising. You know, a few nanos go a little bit sideways throughout the entire series for New York, where, you know, you start to focus it a little bit more on specific targets. Maybe you end up getting better use out of it. Take a look here. This from Victoria's POV is, see the, yeah, even with getting the health pack, it's still not enough to keep Kellen alive.
Yeah, that hurts. Kellen struggling in that round to really make it to his targets, let alone do what Punk did. Again, I mean, that first nano didn't go to Kellen. Punk's getting
even if he makes it to the targets, just think about the healing that MCD is putting down here for Boston, being able to keep these players alive. It's been tremendous. Now we'll see something different from New York. Kellen will play the Wrecking Ball, and you have Yaki here on the Echo. So you're going to have that match right, the Boston Uprising with Valentine on an Echo of his own.
Oh, the sticky bombs, they got each other. Are you kidding me? It's like they collide at such high speed that they eliminate one another. It's like matter and antimatter. Good lord. All right, Flora v Victoria. Oh, Flora isn't aware of that. Victoria chose to take that fight. Kellen discorded, falls back. Victoria took a big hit there from Gangnam Jin. But it's the Uprising here that have the staying power so far, especially with Kellen sort of away from the point, trying to deal with this backline. He doesn't really seem to be putting quite enough pressure. Enough, at least, to make it hard to, you know, keep Punk and Victoria up. So maybe take that back as New York are able to get what they came for.
Yeah, and they're able to get a sleep on a Punk, I believe, take him out. You drop Valentine. So in New York, it looked like they weren't going to be able to take this point. It looked like Boston was going to secure it first, but come back with a pretty good fight. And are able to flip it back in their favor. So Flora now with a pulse bomb. See where he elects to go with this. Probably for the back line. Maybe he can make a play for Crimzo.
14% here, counting. Flora keeping tabs on Victoria. Make it harder for him to get deep and find a pulse bomb. Flora eventually is going to do the same. What a stick. Beautiful connection on MCD. And that's a player advantage now to work with for New York. And you better believe they're going to snowball that little kick as he goes out the door there from Gangnam Jin as Myeonbong deals with Valentine handily. Very clean, and that transcendence again is a big thonker.
Yeah, it's a bit of a nothing burger there. As now you come back for Boston. You're going to have about 60% plus here for New York. What are your options, right? You know, Victoria probably needs to go big. You know, Gangnam Jin, no transcendence, maybe connect with a pulse bomb onto him, and then you're looking at a duplicate. Like, who is a duplicate target? Like a try and dupe. Maybe it's Flora, maybe it's Gangnam Jin. That's going to be a nano that comes out right on the Yaki, but he's going to be able to get MCD.
Oh, okay. For whatever reason, their Valentine opens with the focusing beam on a pretty healthy target there, so they didn't quite have the coordination to clean up Yaki, but they get another DPS.
Maybe they thought the nano was about to wear off and like the punch plus some extra damage was going to be enough to get him in focusing beam range. But the point flipped, so Boston able to sneak on and take it. That'll be a minefield here from Kellen to just kind of deter players from coming to the point.
It's working quite well. The thing is that Boston control the point right now. Yeah, look, it's fine for a flip back. This will be pretty quick though, I imagine. Valentine duping a Zen, fair enough, I guess. He's trying to be insane. And yeah, you can minesweep a little bit with that transcendence. Fair play. However, New York are getting awful close. Boston can't afford another mid-fight flip like that one.
I mean, that's kind of huge though, right? The mid-fight flip, if that doesn't happen, you know, we could be on to our third point at this moment. Is he going to be able to stay on?
Yeah, he's going to take a ton of damage though.
He's really low though.
His trajectory is so predictable until he builds up that sort of speed. So Kellen gets away with it though, because that's what Wrecking Ball kind of does. But him doubling back and have to be healed up really is going to extend the runway for New York here.
What do you think Yaki does with this duplicate? All right, that's going to be the Tracer.
Okay, able to recall in Duke there, of course, so that's pretty important. Would have been a pretty short-lived run, and there could be a pulse here if he can get it. And I mean, yeah, he'll definitely be able to find this. But knocked out of Duke before he has a chance to make anything happen with it. He's still got rid of Victoria, though. Valentine trying to make use of Transcendence on the point. New York have one of their own here. Spots Yaki, pressures him down, focusing beam. Not quite enough to catch him in the meantime. MCD and Punk have gone down. So sure, Valentine gets the kill, but the round might be over.
Yeah, and they couldn't really find anybody there. Like, Boston was searching for players to take out. Everybody pretty topped up and healthy there from New York as they're getting healing from the Transcendence. So what do you do now? Are you going to be able to touch? It looks like, yep, you're going to have Victoria get on and touch. Can he stay there for long, though?
No.
He's going to have to recall out.
Enough time for Punk to get here, so still up for grabs for Boston. Eyes turn towards MCD right now, and they identify the Lucio's looking a little bit tasty up there on the wall. Nice little juke there as Yaki thinks that the Doomfist is going off the point, and Valentine's found his second backliner. No healers here for Kellen. This is getting a little scary, but Flora is able to find the connection on Punk with the pulse. Here comes the Moira. And New York say, no, we think better of this. We're going to back away and let you have it.
This is scary, though, man. If you're New York, because you give up this point, you give up the flip, Valentine's going to have this duplicate, and you're in, like, last fight territory, right? I mean, this
Absolutely.
is like, by the time this kicks off, this is probably going to be it. Where it's great to back off and give the other team the point, but in the terms of, like, the clock you're playing for here, this is going to be tough.
90% now. Look at them, found the Ana. Myungmon's in trouble. Stunned up, he's so low, but Gangnam Jin's able to deal with Valentine. It's going to be a trade at best. Ana's down. Yaki with a focusing beam, but it's of course going to be Punk getting out of dodge. Can they keep him alive, though? He comes back down with very low health, so he has to stop and get a health pack. You can see him there on your left of screen. This is still up for grabs for New York. Victoria doesn't find the pulse connection. There's a lot of damage on Yaki. He's forced to play close to the point. Pulse bomb, no connection, but here's the Transcendence from Gangnam Jin, and MCD has gone down early again. Big sticky bomb connection on Punk, but he stays alive here. Valentine playing off the point. He's so nasty, so deadly on that duplicate, and he gets the Transcendence as well. That means Punk gets back in the fight so much faster, and now it's just Yaki. He takes a headshot and backs away, and Valentine blows him a kiss. Now the wrecking ball with more like a pinball as he gets knocked around there by Punk, and I cannot believe it ends this way. New York show us some signs of life, a flash of inspiration, but it is soon snuffed out by Boston to take the series 3-1.
Oh, that Zenyatta duplicate at the end was so clutch. And not just the dupe, he's able to duplicate the Zenyatta, then pick up like a kill or two, and build enough for a Transcendence. And that Transcendence is massive, because you're not really running a support who has anything at that moment in time. You're playing the Lucio, but still, you weren't on it long enough to actually build up any ultimate. And the Coalescence is coming right off, as you needed something to be able to sustain some of the players. As like you mentioned, Punk going back for the health pack was low. Gets that Transcendence, you're able to push back onto the point, the Coalescence to follow it. That's a huge play there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we find ourselves now at the end of our Midseason Madness qualifiers here, and New York still only have that one series win. So a time now for reflection for them and trying to decide exactly what is going on. But on the side of the Boston Uprising here, there's plenty to take away. Getting their fourth win, I think, is pretty big, especially they've had some really heartbreaking, close games. Boston Uprising, for those that don't know, are a team who are renowned in the Overwatch League for having very close series. Once they go all the way, I mean, the Toilet Bowl is one example. Obviously, they had another 5-mapper against the Outlaws earlier this week. His team often suffers very close defeats, but not so this time. And you know, worth talking about some of these standout individuals on the side of Boston, because I'm very impressed with Punk as always. But we should talk about that player of the match, right? Because I think you know, this has been a series where Valentine has a huge impact, and we've already been talking him up over the last couple of weeks here. First, it was the Genji. I mean, we talked about that very cute little duplication of a Zenyatta at the end of that fight there, where he does a whole lot of work. But over the course of this series, it's been incredible.
Yeah, making the right plays, being in the right spots at the right time. I know consistent use and good usage out of the ultimates. I thought this play on Dorado was fantastic, being able to sneak around, make this huge play and end up getting both supports. Thought Valentine was a huge difference maker today. And when you looked on the other side, you know, Yaki and Flora, two very strong DPS players. Valentine helped swing that in Boston Uprising's favor.
Yeah, we so often talked about how actually the DPS lines were clashing frequently, and more often than not, the Boston Uprising were coming out on top. Now, we've also spent a lot of time giving players like MCD due credit in this series for managing to, enable this kind of play. But again, 12.2 final blows per 10 on Genji, which is a huge deal. And look, getting at least 1 kill per Dragonblade has got to feel good. We watched Yaki plenty of times be unable to really derive any advantage from that ability. So in 5v5, definitely worthwhile. See Genji players able to break deadlocks with that ultimate.
And if you're Boston, now this is a good way to go into that mid-season break for them, right? Obviously not qualifying for the tournament. You come back in that T3, you're able to put together some wins there. You come back, maybe a brand new meta kind of works out for you. You get some league points in that tournament 3, and then it's kind of up for grabs at that point, right? Playing, as like to the 10th seed in the West, right? So as long as you're not that low, you have a fighting chance with the way they play today. Definitely a strong opportunity to make some noise.
Absolutely here. And time for New York to think about maybe some changes here, or just how they can approach the rest of the year in a way that could yield a little more success for them, because I don't think anybody is going to be happy with the 1-11.
This team did not expect to be 1-11 at this moment in time. I think there's some teams where you maybe go into the year and you kind of know, like, hey, we're not going to be near the top. Like, we're going to put together some wins, but, we might be outmatched in some series. This is not a team that I think came into this year looking at their roster and what they put together in the offseason and thought that. So, yeah, I think this midseason break, a lot of questions.
Sole win against Vancouver Titans there, so not a whole lot for the Excelsior to be proud of. Stick around, though, everybody. We got a whole bracket to break down. It's time to get a little bit of a feel for what to expect in the Midseason Madness. So we're going to head back over to Watchpoint after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to the Watch Point Post Show, everybody. I'm here joined now by the player of the match, Valentine from Boston Uprising. Yeah, hello. Hi, Valentine.
Hello. Good.
Yeah! Very excited. Hey, I mean, you were popping off today on that Echo and Genji. I guess you could say Eki, but anyways, great win against the New York Excelsior. What was your game plan going into today's match against New York? And also, how did you guys get the win today? 자, 첫 번째 질문은 일단 오늘 에코랑 겐지 플레이가 정말 너무나도 인상이 깊었고, 일단 또 오늘 플레이 오브 더 매치 받은 것도 너무 축하드리면서 오늘 경기 뉴욕과의 경기 좀 어떻게 준비를 하셨고 또 어떻게 해서 승리를 거두시게 되셨나요?
네, 일단은 저희는 뭔가 하던 대로 했지만 휴스턴전이나 플로리다전 때 아쉽게 풀세트로 지면서 느꼈던 게 좀 집중력이 부족하다는 걸 되게 느꼈어가지고 저희 백라인 제나타 아나랑 같이 뭔가 같은 페이지를 볼 수 있게 뭔가 피드백이 계속 들어가서 이겼던 것 같아요 오늘.
All right. I think bottom line is we just played how we always used to practice and how we always played. But last couple of matches, we had a good run, but we sort of came up short at the end, and that's how we lost those two matches. It was some of the matches were very winnable, but we couldn't, and I believe that was because I think we sort of fell off on our concentration towards the end. So I think we sort of wanted to tighten up our plays with our support line, and I think that really helped against the match against our match against New York Excelsior today. And my final question for you, Valentine, is unfortunately, this is the end for your stage 2, qualifier matches. But there's, we're only halfway done the season. We have so much more matches to go. What are some of the stuff that you guys are going to sort of practice or to improve during the long break that you're going to have? 자, 두 번째 질문은 이제 이번 스테이지 2는 보스턴 아쉽게도 여기서 끝이 났지만 아직 시즌이 끝난 건 아니잖아요. 아직도 한참 많은 경기가 남았기 때문에 발렌타인 선수와 보스턴 팀은 이제 어떻게 보면 이제 휴가에 들어가면서 좀 다음 스테이지를 위해서 좀 어떤 준비를 하실 건가요?
네, 일단 말했다시피 저희가 하웨이를 아쉽게 못 가는 상황이라서 일단 휴가 때는 최대한 뭐 여행도 다닐 생각이고 게임적으로 봤을 때는 저희가 계속 풀세트 났던 것처럼 저희가 성장하고 있다는 걸 느끼기 때문에 계속 하나하나 계속 맞춰가고 있는 단계라서 다음 스테이지는 좀 더 완벽한 모습으로 경기를 보여드릴 수 있을 것 같아요.
Yes, as you guys all know, we are unfortunately not going to Hawaii. So I think we're going to take the time to, sort of get some break, take a breather, travel a little bit. As for game-wise, though, I do feel like we are improving as a team. So we're going to take it slow, step by step, and really try to come back better, more perfect, or, show more flawless gameplay for our fans. All right, Valentine, that is it for the interview. Thank you so much for your time, and again, big congratulations on your win. 자, 이걸로 인터뷰 마치겠고요. 발렌타인 선수 지금까지 너무 수고 많으셨습니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. 고생하셨습니다.
You gotta clap, Danny. You gotta clap.
Yeah. He just said,
claps.
he said, thank you so much. Thank you for your work, hard work.
Oh.
How nice of him.
Yeah, Valentine's really nice.
He's so
I
nice.
love that.
He did call us out. He did call me out though. While we were waiting to go on broadcast. He was like, "Yeah, I saw you and Costa. You guys didn't pick Boston."
Unbelievable. How could you?
I can't believe my heart lied to me like this.
Same.
Heart, the heart's not allowed to come out at all throughout the mid-season playoffs.
Right, Costa.
Yeah, we're only doing brain analysis from now on.
For me, it's like 50-50. It doesn't matter which one I trust. It's always 50-50. That's it for the Midseason Madness qualification madness. We wrapped it with a Boston Uprising win. And I feel like we could go on and on about New York Excelsior, individual skill, not being able to play with teamwork. But I think that Boston Uprising is a way more comfortable, nice kind of conversation because this is a 4-8 team now. They're on the up and up, and Mitch and Matt, they already discussed the play-in implications later this year. It really does feel like they're on the rise, Costa.
Yeah, I think that the thing that's most impressive about them is not just they're having that individual pop-off moments. Like, that's the thing we praise the New York Excelsior for, of like in their most recent matches, even though they haven't been getting the wins, they've been playing at an incredibly high level, but it's just not sustainable. And that's the thing. You can't just rely that Yaki's going to kill 4 people for almost seemingly no reason in every single team fight. This was just clean team play. Everyone's doing their job. The backline's playing together very well. Punk's going in, creating that space and, you know, giving that space to the V brothers to then do their job. And, you know, I think another just all-round clean matchup. As you said, playoff implications. As much as they're not in the mid-season tournament, only 10 teams get the opportunity to be able to even play in the playoffs. So if you are 11th or 12th in the North American region, then you don't even get an opportunity to even, you know, have a look at that. And that's where the New York Excelsior are falling dangerously into. With a 1-11 record, they're going to need to win a bunch of matches in the back half of the season to be able to keep their season hopes alive.
Yeah, absolutely. Danny, I'll give you a choice. You have the option. Either you can continue to go in on the New York Excelsior, or your favorite standout for the Boston Uprising. I'm not going to force you to go either way.
I do want to sort of talk a little bit about New York Excelsior. I think what I saw from them was, I do think they have the individual talent, right?
Okay.
No,
you're bad. You're not allowed to say that.
Listen to me. But I think what they fell short on was, I think whenever they were trying to dive someone, you know, either the time they sort of had that timing issue, or that teamwork was still a little bit lacking compared to Boston. I think that was sort of my take on why the New York Excelsior lost. And Boston, one thing, my favorite, I think, Valentine on Echo and Genji.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
I will say, first of all, you did kind of hint on the talent was there. So, you know, that's actually going to be a bit of a yellow card. That's a yellow card for you. We're not allowed to say the talent.
What is that? What's the other one? So what happens if I say it again?
We're going to shut you down, Danny.
Yeah.
I wasn't wrong. The talent is there.
No, ref. Yeah, come on, hey.
New York Excelsior, every person, they all have their talent.
Danny, we're shutting you
I'm sorry, you need to
off.
leave. You need to leave. I'm sorry, Danny. Get out of here. Yeah, you can't keep saying.
I'm actually gonna leave. I'm actually gonna leave.
No, just sit down, okay? You're wired up.
Temporary suspension, okay?
All right, just quiet. I do want to shout out to Valentine as well. I think Valentine was a bit of a standout. And I personally want to give Valentine some extra credit because he's a player that I've been really hard on in the past.
Yeah.
I even said earlier on this season that Valentine, he's playing for his Overwatch League career earlier on this season because last season was just not good enough. But now he's combining with Victoria, the V brothers. And I really think he's playing some of the best Overwatch he's done in his career. And I think, you know, improving is very difficult as a player. And so I need to give Valentine his props. He did improve like that. So I stole down his points. I shut him down.
If you put the V's together, it makes a dub.
Oh my God!
The V brothers.
I can't believe
That's a dub from the Boston.
Get out.
Yeah, no. We're going down together, Danny.
We need to move on. That was absolutely.
Oh my God. Oh, take this bear.
All right, here we go. The moment you've been waiting for. We've been setting it up all day. We've been waiting so long for this one. It's our best of the day. Yeah, that's right. You get to see the bracket later. I'm the host. Direct. Best of the day. I gotta kick this off with the Dallas Fuel. I mean, what even went down here? I mean, a triple C9. Are you kidding me? Fearless, come on. Just look at the distance between like Fearless here and his backline. He's in the enemy spawn, and his team is in his own spawn. And then we move on. I mean,
this was egregious.
I mean, they're just on the payload. Lana's just on the payload. Like they're just
they're just on the payload.
London's confused. I was like, am I not? Okay.
You just know Chio standing on the high ground like, guys, the Khan.
And then again, Fearless is in the back line.
He jumps over the Khan.
I mean, they're so spread out. That's incredible.
I like the lower third as well. C9X3 equals C27.
Yeah. C27.
Wouldn't it be CC?
No,
never mind.
9 times 6. Math.
Well,
Simple math.
there's 3 C's.
Well,
if you multiply C's by 3, well, actually, what's the 9th letter of the alphabet? No, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do that. Please tell me it's my turn. My best of the day. We're going to look at Fearless.
Custard's loose. He's unhinged.
It's Sunday. We're allowed to have fun with this one. We're going to have a look at Fearless, sending some people into the drink. We just made fun of Fearless. Let's get some high praise in here. Big punch onto Chatty, getting him off. That was actually so unfortunate, even with the tank passive. But the second one, this one was even crazier. Yeah. Fool me once, shame on you. Second time, London Spitfire just walking to the edge once again. Fire, you fools!
I love it.
In the wise words of Gandalf.
Yeah.
London Spitfire, you should know better.
Who's Frodo in this journey? Chio? Fielder? Well,
my best of the day. All right, my best of the day, everybody. I thought this was a very cool play from Chio, actually. You were mentioning Chio. My best of the day is from Chio. This happened on Gibraltar. What did you say?
Nothing you get.
But yeah, here we go. I think Shax goes to attach the pulse bomb. And then what? Do you guys see what happened? Chio sees that it was on his shield, turns around, locates Shax, and just goes in, batches in to kill Shax. And I thought that was pretty cool. It went by super fast. I was kind of proud of myself for catching that too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, did that actually happen?
That was so unlucky for Shax.
Yeah.
Just better.
It's just better, yeah.
You did jump into the truck when it happened. It like, has anyone taken the pulse bomb stick? It's my best of the day.
You were very confident.
I was very proud of myself.
All right, amazing moments. We got amazing moments every day here at the Overwatch League. We have some action. And now, finally, what we've been waiting for is the Midseason Madness bracket. Let's take our first quick.
Let's go!
We haven't even seen this.
No.
So, you know, they finalized the seeding, which means that we have the first round figured out. We have the top 4. So here we go.
Oh, London vs Atlanta, first round.
London
versus Atlanta.
And that is Monday, the 18th. It's not Thursday, it's not Friday. We start the tournament on a Monday, Hawaii time, okay? So keep that in mind if you're going to follow along at home. It's a Monday. So we got London Spitfire taking on the Atlanta Reign. Shanghai Dragons, the number 5 seed, they did not get a top 4, go against the Toronto Defiant, Hangzhou Spark, Philadelphia Fusion. That's a bit of a rivalry in the APAC region.
Yeah.
And the Houston Outlaws against the Florida Mayhem. So those first 4 matches on Monday, give me some quick thoughts.
I think
go ahead.
I think the London Atlanta one is the spiciest just because of their history from, you know, the kickoff clash.
I think I'm actually excited for Shanghai Toronto because that's the very first West versus East.
Yeah.
I don't know the teams are very rival like, but I mean it's gonna be, I think, pretty fun.
Yeah, so there you go. There's a day 1 schedule, Monday, July 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. PST, Pacific time, of course. And if you're in Europe, feel free to Google a time transfer because Lord knows I'm not doing it on broadcast. And of course, later on, I'm not sure if we could pull up back the bracket, of course. I just want to walk you through the seedings, of course. So the top 4 seeds through Global is going to be the top 4. San Francisco Shock is number 1.
Yep.
LA Gladiators number 2.
Yep.
Seoul Dynasty number 3. They are picking their winner bracket opponents.
Nice.
You can see here.
Yep.
So when the teams advance, for example, if Atlanta were to beat London, they're in the pool that San Francisco Shock can pick the number 1, and then we go down the line. So Dallas Fuel as number 4, they get the leftovers. They get the 4th,
whoever's
4th
left.
remaining winning game.
Yep.
The losers, they're not out. They get demoted to the losers bracket, and they have 1 tournament life remaining. So
Simple.
top 4 seed essentially just grants you a bye in this winner and losers bracket. So there you go. A bit complicated, but very entertaining.
Yes.
I think this format is
I am actually
really
so
good.
excited for this.
There's going to be, I hope, you guys need to lock off those 5 days. It's going to be long days.
Yeah.
We're going to be here. I think we're setting up a tent in the back somewhere here, and that's where we're just going to live for about a week.
We'll have like a little, you know, fire pit.
Yeah, exactly.
Barbecue. Yeah. So there you have it. Amazing. It's been an absolute pleasure this week.
And so, just to remind everybody, we are off for a week, and then we're coming back on Monday, right?
Monday, July 18th.
July 18th, everybody. It's not next coming Monday.
We're not reminding you, we're reminding ourselves. Danny would have shown up next week. Danny's like, do I have work tomorrow?
It's not tomorrow.
We started the tournament tomorrow. No, we're not.
It's not tomorrow. It's the week after.
Week after, yeah.
All right, got it. Okay.
It's going to be so much fun. Gentlemen, I had a blast this weekend.
You know, fun?
Really had a blast. The Denim Boys, the Backcap
Boys?
Backcap Boys, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in to the Midseason Madness qualification matches, and we'll see you for the tournament. From us, here on the desk, and producer Hex in the background, we say good night, and we'll see you in a week for some tournament action in Hawaii.
Woo, let's go!
West!
Woo! Backcap Boys out!